How's it going, everybody? It is Ethan and Coder, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Build Twitter. This is episode 32, and in this episode we go ahead and continue up working on our inputs for the register modal by finishing up the register email input as well as hooking it up to Redux. That way we can go ahead and move on to some other things. Let's go ahead and hop right into VS Code and I'll show you guys how we did it. We are extremely close to getting the first page done here, or the very first modal done here. So what we need to do now is fix up the email, and then we can go ahead and do all of the CSS and things of that sort. So we're going to go ahead and pop back in here. And again, the reason why we are making this different is that way we can control it better with Redux. And also, if there's a mess behind me, I'm sorry. By the time you guys see this, I should be moved into the new house, so it shouldn't be news to you guys. But I am moving, so I'm just trying to make sure I share up some videos and everything because moving is going to take some time, and then we'll get back into it. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and make a new component, and we're going to call this register email input. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into our components, and I'm going to make a new folder, register email input, like so, and I'm going to make a new file. I'll call this register email input.tsx. And go ahead and maybe new file, register email input.tsx. There we go. Get rid of our editor. So again, we'll just go ahead and do our normal import React. This is also going to need to use state and probably use effect as well. If we don't need use effect, it's fine. We'll get rid of it later from React. And then we're also going to grab the validated text input, import validated text input, like so. Again, the CSS is a little bit broken right now. We'll fix it up a little bit. This is going to be export const. And then we'll have our register email input as well. And this is going to be a react.functional component because we are using TypeScript, and we are going to do one of these. We need a state, so const, and this is going to be valid email. And then this is going to be set valid email. And this is going to be to set some things we need later. I don't remember exactly what it's for, but we'll get to it. And then this will start out as true. And then we'll go ahead and also do our return. And this is just going to have a div, and inside the div we'll have a class, and this is going to equal to register email input, like so. And then inside here we'll have our validated text input, and valid will equal to valid email. We will have our label, which is just going to be email. We are going to have our name, which is just, once again, going to be email. And then change value will just be empty for the time being. So we'll just do an empty function and save. Cool. So the next thing that we need to do is actually set it up so we can validate the email. So this is going to be a string of regex that I stole from online. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to go into our validator service. And I'm just going to go down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and say export const validate email is equal to value, maybe value colon string. And then this is going to return a Boolean, like so. And we're going to say if not value dot to lowercase dot match. And then inside of this match, we are going to have, and this should be a method. Inside of this match, we're going to have our regex. So this is going to essentially match whether or not you have characters, an @ symbol, and then like a dot, and then like a com or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly how it is. I did a bunch of research. This seems to be the easiest way to do it. So that's what we're doing. And then we're going to say return false, otherwise return true. So this is going to determine whether or not our email is quote unquote valid. And Twitter actually does this as well, where if you type, but it's not a valid email yet, it's going to determine whether it's valid or not as you're typing. Actually, this one acts a little bit faster. but it's fine. So now let's go ahead and hop back into register email input and finish it up. So we're going to also need to grab use dispatch. So go ahead and grab that, import use dispatch for our Redux. We also need the app dispatch. So import app dispatch from our store. We need the update register for our dispatch or our reducer as well. So say update register. Nope. Update register like so from our slice. And then finally we need the validator. So we'll go ahead and import the validator, import, and then validate email. And then this is going to be from, we're going to have to find it. It's going to come from our services inside of here, services / validators. And let me double check export const. This would be validate email, and that should fix this. Awesome. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to set up the dispatch. So const dispatch, and then we are going to say this is app dispatch and equal to use dispatch like we normally do with our Redux. And then we are going to have a update email function. So update email, and this is going to take in a React event, react.change event that is. And this is going to be from an HTML input element because that is how we're getting our value. And this is just going to return the void. Now we can go ahead and dispatch. And we are going to dispatch and update register. And then inside of here, this returns a name and a value. So name is going to be email because we want to update the email field inside of our slice. And the value is going to be e.target.value. So again, this is going to be the value that's coming from the input element like so. And this will dispatch the item. And then after we do this, we want to go ahead and see if it's valid or not. So we'll say let valid equal to validate email. And I'm sure there's probably a better way to do this, but this is how I found to do it. So we're going to see if it is a valid email. If so, after that, we'll go ahead and set it. And then finally, we will dispatch this again. So dispatch update register, and then do this. And if I wanted to, I probably could have done this differently if I wasn't using TypeScript, or there's probably a way to do it with TypeScript. But this is just how I do it. So again, it might not be best practice to do it this way. I'm just doing it however I can get it to work. Value is going to be valid. So we're going to set the value of valid and set the value of the email. So now all we got to do is go ahead and change this to update email like so, and save. And now we can go ahead and go back into our modal or wherever this was and actually update this. So we want to go into our register form 1. So let me find this. So register form 1, open up the TSX. And now instead of this validated input, we are going to import down here, import the register email input. And I probably spelled it wrong, from, and then this is going to be from .. register email input / register email input, and save. And then now in here, go ahead and have our, get rid of this, and this will be register email input. I don't think it takes any other values. Cool. And that is essentially good to go. So now if we actually go inside of here and refresh, you can see all of it's there. If we open up the inspect and go to our console, hopefully we should be able to see when we type in here. So maybe I'll say unknown, Koder, unknown. As you see, it's red because it's not a valid email yet. Unknown at gmail.com. And now after we get to at gmail.com, it is now valid. And if we look in here, this is our global state, and we see If we find it, email valid is true, our last name valid is true, our first name is valid true. We've already seen our date and time picker. So if we choose a day that is over 13 years ago, everything's good to go. And now we have all of this validated and we're ready for the next thing, which would be to go ahead and build a button. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.